North Melbourne, Hawthorn. Oh my god, I just realized that one of the teams has to get points. I didn't even think of it. Because these teams are second and third last on the ladder. They're currently 16 and 17. I just realized that one of them has to score points. We came earlier in the day with Collingwood playing a game, a very interesting game. Here we go with the Northern. Let's get rid of it. I think it is Hawthorn as player 1 if I remember correctly. We'll see what that in recent times hasn't really been that big of a deal, thankfully. So we'll see how things turn out. Interesting coming in. I thought we'll get rid of this one. Yes, that is Fergus Green. First goal to Hawthorn here. First goal to Hawthorn. Very interesting. I was hearing like mowing the lawn was going to happen today and stuff, so it made me play Yakuza for a little bit less than I otherwise would have. I was focused elsewhere. That's absolutely the case. But no, we come in with the AFL here. It feels good. There we go. We're going to come back. You want to get rid of that. You do want to get rid of that. You do want to get the handball out of there. I have also been noticing, so in my teenage days and my early adulthood days, I was quite the fan of the Big Brother US. The Big Brother US, and apparently today was their first day and shit. And they had a survival, and they've got a survival legend on it. So like, my mind is kind of sidetracked a bit, kind of wanting to see what the hell's going on over there. Because this is how my growing up happened. I would have those things, and I can't help myself. I see the stuff, and I start thinking in my own head of like, what are the types of things I would do in that environment. It's like I would be playing the game, despite the fact I wasn't in it. And I know that like it's sort of, it can be nice in the sense of, oh, you're kind of seeing like what you're actually capable of, and there are things you pick up doing that year after year. But it also gives a false sense of belief, you know, because you're only doing that within your own mind. Get rid of this one, please. It's handball. Farms it out. A goal scoring opportunity. Go again. And another handball. Well played. His vision was excellent. No, you need to get rid of that. Closed him down. Okay, that's the ball out there. Free kick, but we'll have a stoppage. The two big men do battle. Newcomb. Ball spills free in the tackle. Go here. Who you got? Get the kicks going into the pocket. Oh. About hand passing. Impey affects the turnover. Tumbles a punt towards the Morrison. Gathers it cleanly and go down. Bit of a nothing kick. Look at the space he's got to work with. What's he got on offer? There you go. Newcomb. Get the kicks down in there. This will be their first entry for a while. McDonald had it and lost it. Desperate defense. It's somewhat funny to me that I see myself right now. Look, I wasn't talking in that little bit. It's because I'm playing out little things in my head. I'm like having like a separate conversation about something. And it's like, it's kind of what happens. I get sidetracked, and it's easy for me to get sidetracked. Earlier, with Big Brother stuff and being like, oh my god, let me like play a thing out in my head, and then I'll just like it happened. Like I felt like it happened so much while I was playing Yakuza. I was just completely out of it for so much. Keep it going here. You got little kicks in. I need to think of like something to talk about other than it if I can. The first game we had today, I was able to do that. It was good. We had Tony Hawk talking about that. There was some stuff in there, I don't know. But you know, Mr. McDonald trying to get rid of that one. There you go. McDonald with the footy. Newcomb takes an excellent grab. Can the defenders repel the McDonald? Maybe I need like a day off. Thinking that way, you know. Maybe I need like a just nice day off, just to like recharge a bit. You know, I am seeing that in myself. Where it's like how I don't know. It's like I've been doing this for a couple of months now. I've been seeing myself doing it for 2.5 months. We're not too far away from the 3-month mark. And yeah, I don't know. It's strange. Like it's strange seeing how the way the PlayStation Plus goes with games being on the limit. So like I feel myself feeling the need to play the Yakuza games within a time limit,
Goes Goldwood, and he's off target.
And because there were so many games on PlayStation Plus, I'm like, oh my god, I need to go buy those games so then I can go play them for things. It's interesting after a little bit of time and you get used to it, kind of looking around being like, do I really need to go do this stuff? Do I really need to go do that stuff? What are you ultimately doing things for? I've mentioned this before, but asking myself the question, what am I doing things for? What is the purpose of it all? That's, I think that's something that I think about. I feel like I've thought about a lot over the past couple of years with things. So like I can feel Stevenson, that's off there. Thinking about the purpose of why am I doing things? Where is it all really coming from? Why do I get attracted to the things I get attracted to? And even though like I have this right here, I have the streaming and the YouTube, and like you can, and hypothetically, in a theory standpoint, you can look at that. I can look at that and be like, yeah, there's that potential there of a long-term thing that actually has, that actually feels like a chance in that fits somewhat of a desire for me.
They've given it back. Davies Uniacke. He'll work all day.
I also feel myself looking around being like, oh, what if I did something else though? Being like, how much, what exactly am I trying to get out of it? Exactly how much, what do I take away from it? Am I actually feeling fulfilled from doing this stuff that I'm doing? And that's a good question.
Great team goal. They keep playing like that. They won't be behind for long.
One straight kick the difference.
But then I always, as I ask those questions and see things that I don't feel great about, as I like analyze it, I also have to think of the question, well, something has to replace it, right? If you go get rid of something, there has to be a replacement. Is the replacement like a suitable enough replacement? And when you think of the yes or no, how much of that, like as much as you can put in thought towards, oh, this is a more suitable thing in terms of a long term or whatever, like you're putting that influence on it, you're ultimately only going to make decisions in the moment. The only thing you can really, it's the ultimate final decider is what you're looking around and feeling in the moment based on your analysis of the situation. But in saying that, yeah, it's not like I look around and say, oh yeah, like I can look around and say, oh, maybe I want to go look at something else because it's more exciting in the moment, so I go do it, and I can look at that and be like, oh, maybe like if I had like a long-term approach thing to something, it would make more sense to go and
you can put this one in the footy record.
Dive into another part. And being like, yeah, that can make sense and stuff, but if it's not like a clear-cut purpose, it feels a lot easier to just go for like the shiny thing. So like right now, streaming and YouTube isn't actually the shiny thing, so I can feel it being easier on myself, and especially in these past couple of days, I've really found it coming up more about being like, oh my god, what if I was like doing something else though? Like the shininess from streaming and YouTube isn't really there. I think it was there. It was there for a little. I remember it was there, but it kind of like went away once. It was like when I was in DLC for Spider-Man. That's kind of like when it first kind of like went away, and I went, okay, they're like, there are troubles in here, but
Newcomb does the crumbing. Scott and can relieve the pressure.
What am I looking to say here? But yeah, as I play the Yakuza games, like there is like an excitement that, oh my god, I'm playing the Yakuza games, but I also have felt, and I think it does show in terms of how long I actually end up playing it. When I played Yakuza 0, I was playing at minimum for 4 hours, and I would play for over 5 hours in some of those days. And as I'm playing Yakuza Kiwami, I feel like I'm just trying to get through it, like I'm going through the motions. I'm not actually like enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it. And I think about that and I go, is it because like I've seen the game before? And it's like that's part of it, you know, so I don't fully pay attention as much as I otherwise probably should be looking to. But then I also think about the fact that if I'm not paying as much attention and I'm like spending time, like here's the thing, it's like when those cutscenes are going in that game, I am barely paying attention whatsoever. I am looking at something else because I like know what's going on. That's pretty much it, right? And it's like, oh well, maybe you'd like it more if you were more engaged with it, but like I just can't do it right now, you know? Like, I don't know if it's, like, I do think about to myself how much of it's because I already know what's coming up, how much of it's just general lack of interest of, like, playing games for hours is something that I haven't been used to. And I guess after, like, that initial excitement, there's part of it that's just kind of waned, I think that's the right way. Or, like,
Goldstein got his palm to it.
that might be like the trouble with streaming for me, you know, to just be on all the time, like the breaks, you know, and I even feel myself taking like longer breaks than I otherwise would. Like I feel like they're more frequent and they're longer, and I just look at that and say, look, how long am I, like I feel like I can feel myself drifting away, you know, and wanting to look at other stuff. I'm wanting to go and look at my NBA betting, which doesn't even come up for like a couple of months, but I'm wanting to like go look at it and try and research it and be like, maybe I should go look at that, maybe I should go look at some other stuff that might have a bit more of a shiny effect on me. And that's something for me to think about.
Can he impose himself on the match? Stevenson, he's caught. Powell, big chance here if he can steady himself.
It kicks away, yeah, he does. But when I come off the AFL game, I guess it can be a bit easier because when I'm talking, I'm not talking on the AFL game all that much. Like, if I was like completely focused on the AFL game, and I've seen it, I get really bored actually. And it's
just had to get it out.
It's something that's been developed over the years, where usually I only play sport games. Like prior to streaming, I've talked about this before, where I would only play sport games, but that I would be listening to something at the same time, so my attention was like also taken away from the game a bit. It made things easier for me to, I've sort of gotten used to that, so it's easier for me to play the AFL games at the moment, as long as I'm actually talking about something.
Of their midfield ascendance.
I'm inclined to agree. Thank you.
I don't know, I definitely look around at what's going on, and I don't know if this is, how much of this is a me thing in terms of me being at maybe a higher end of this, how much this is just people in general, but being very repetitive, you know, going in those cycles, like noticing the thing, but then, and then maybe talking about it a little bit here and there, but then give it a couple of days, go right back to it, you know, being in a full repetition, but like having somewhat of an understanding on it. Get the handballs over there. That is Fergus Green. Because I would have a series that I would do on YouTube that I made private, a little video series, and over the past couple of years as I've been doing that, I would notice that I would talk about the same things over and over and over again, and maybe it would pass away for a few days or a couple of weeks, but then it would come back up. But I wouldn't necessarily do much about it. I would just constantly re-notice it. So I see that here in terms of things to talk about. Like, it takes a long time from first talking about it, and then quite a few times of it's not even like, I don't even know. It's like noticing something, talking, mentioning it time and time again, and then and then at some point something happens a little bit.
His field kicking is normally first rate.
I don't know if that's as much because of like first noticing, it just took a lot of time before it finally like turned the bend, or if it's just like something else came along that then took it away. If whether you're looking for something and then it turns, or something comes up and then be like, okay, now it's time to turn the bend on it, turn the corner on it. I'm not fully sure, but what else was I really going with that? I was trying mentioning the same things over. What was I looking to mention? Yes, I guess it was like on the idea of like, as I look at Twitch and YouTube and I see the things and I go, okay, like general idea was like, make sure that you're actually enjoying what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying it, like what's the point of you actually doing it, right?
top defence. That 4-0 forward amounts to nothing. No easy exit.
Like, I don't know that Twitch and YouTube is the type of thing you can just do if you're not enjoying it, you know? So we need to get rid of this. You need to get the kicks there. Keep it going.
Wins the contest hands down.
But yeah, as I think of that, I think of I still look around. I still pay attention because I still see it, but not as much. I think like there's definitely looking around at Twitch and YouTube and being like, well, if you want to like continue doing it at like a long-term thing, the only way that's really going to work is if you're having people actually watch you. So there are things that would go into that where like people come by and they stick around thinking that it's interesting enough, which up until this point for the first couple of months, not happened all that much. Now that's not surprising. You're like a new person into it. People have their own things that they already want to go watch. It's not like a lot of people go exploring around for new people. That makes sense. Like a lot of that makes sense. It's not anything like that. But at the same time, I still look at it and be like, probably should like have a bit more than I do. If you're looking for it to be a long-term thing. So that's like on my mind a little bit, but at the same time, I also feel as though in the past, I don't exactly know how many days, I feel like my actual looking around to be like, oh my god, did I get a new YouTube subscriber or something? It's definitely gone down, and I guess as that's kind of gone down and go like, oh, that's not like it's something that's important, but in like a little bit of a patch right now where I'm looking at it not being important. I don't know if that's because I try to think about why that is. Why is it? And I don't know if that's like something that's come after like general like my interest in doing the stuff itself lowering, and therefore my desire to look at which follower YouTube subscriber count lowering as part of that, or if it's like the other way around. I'm not fully sure, but gotta get the handballs on here. But I also think about the fact that originally when the idea of doing this stuff came about, the idea was to start off playing games and then while also maybe trying to work out to talk about things, sort of learn going through that, with an ideal of being able to talk about a subject and just kind of going through it and trying to understand it in a way that I personally want to try understanding it. Trying to go through different points of view on it and trying to just understand like a logic tree, like you're driving on a road. How do you get to the path that you're on? Because everyone has their own path in terms of what it is they believe in their personal philosophies. And everyone has whatever destination a person comes to on a topic. Where did they come from to be able to get to that? What was that pathway to get there? That was definitely something that I'm like, oh, that's interesting to do. But if that was really interesting to me, there wouldn't really be a need to go and do other stuff. I could just go do that. It's like, why am I not going to do that? To an extent, it's because I don't actually want to, right? Like, I only want to do it in theory, as long as it's like easy enough for me to sort of get. Because if it was something that was really exciting to me, something that I really wanted to do, I would just go do it. That's kind of how we are. If we actually really want to go do what we say we want to do, we would just go do it.
The defense has fallen down. Lewis is the man on the spot and is marked.
It's so important to be efficient in goal, especially when it's tight on the scoreboard.
I do think about that a bit. I think about how I look at it and I go, do I really want to go doing that types of things? You know, like the idea of trying to be like as unbiased as possible, trying to discover all different logic paths of how you can on different subjects and trying to be great with that. While that can sound great, you know what actually feels better? Just saying your own shit and then just being like, people should just agree with me because I'm right on everything, instead of like having to understand other people's points of views on things instead of trying to understand all the points of views and then trying to piece it together from that. It doesn't feel as good. So don't go do it. That's what ends up happening. It's like, okay, so you don't go do it. And what do you end up doing?
The difference in class between these sides so far today.
The Roos haven't been able to respond. They look gone.
So I think about,
Taylor gets his kick despite the heat. The Hawks have
like, I'm trying to pay attention a little bit how I'm feeling in this exact moment as I'm saying the things I'm saying, because usually as I go through stuff and afterwards, like, I feel like this is going to happen, like afterwards I'm going to look around and say, you know, there's actually like a lot of, I guess, discontent within me. I think that's the right word. Towards
Twitch
and YouTube, towards what I'm doing, and that I actually feel that in terms of a lot of things, just the general life.
The umpire whistles for a ball up.
And then trying to notice what is it about this exact moment where things actually kind of don't feel horrible, and
good tackle.
is it the subject matter that I'm talking about? Maybe. It could be. And does that subject matter kind of fall in line with what I'm looking, what my projected ideal is? I actually don't think it does. I actually don't think it does, because it's just talking from my personal view on myself. It's just me talking, and it's not necessarily my view on just things in general.
The Hawks are red hot at the moment. Gee, they're playing well. Meek.
Another handball. He's got Lewis.
Can run, and that's a great hand pass. It's a goal.
A few heads will start to drop soon if they can't turn the tide. They're right on the edge.
We're expecting a good play today. So far, it's been nothing of the sort. Taylor. Stevenson.
I want to get rid of that. That's okay. You got Davies Uniacke. That's off. That is off there. Okay.
Missed the target by a long way.
The Hawks playing like winners. Scrimshaw.
Handballs away. Keep it going.
Ward is released by
Like when you enter something, when you look at something from an outside, and you're not part of it, there are things that become attractive and things that become you focus on the things that are like attractive to you. So you like sort of approach it, right? But then once you get into it, you've sort of gotten what that attractive stuff is, probably, or maybe you're not even getting it. You start seeing more things because your point of view on it, your point of view on it is from a different position at that point. You're no longer looking at it from the outside and just admiring what's shiny about it, or what you consider shiny for you. There are things you got to deal with. So I see that with Twitch, where I'm like, the actual act of just being on games for hours, I'm like, it's not something I was doing prior to streaming, and even the act of just speaking words for hours is something I've never done ever. And then you have to go through that, and I'm like, how much do I really want to go through that, and how much would I just rather not do it and just watch other people who I kind of like doing it, and just rather do that. I do think about that a little bit. You know, it's like, why am I going around?
Really letting them down.
I realize as I'm saying that what that would ultimately lead to is just, in terms of the games I play, it would just be sport games. I'll probably talk more on that once we get to the third quarter. I'll have to turn the light on.
Ward feeling the heat. Newcomb, the Hawks can build something here. Moore,
Mr. Moore.
some space. This is champagne footy.
Yeah, he's got that. There you go.
If he's successful.
Did they just say he's got 7?
The Roos are in real danger of taking a big percentage hit now.
Okay, we will be back in the second half. Just a moment. Take a pause here. Okay, we are on the way in the second half. As I was saying, what was I saying? The last thing, I was talking about like sports games and being like, okay, well, if I took the mindset that I was talking about with these types of games where it's like story-based games that I actually never really played, like I could actually see myself sort of reverting back into that, you know, of like, oh, these story-based games, like, oh, I'm not the type of person for that. I probably shouldn't even be playing those. you know. But there are like money that's actually already been bought, so maybe.
Lots to analyse, Gary. What stands
It's like
out?
looking around at something like that and seeing where it's like, well, if I go based on where I already naturally was at, that would sort of just take me towards just going back into playing sport games only. Which is kind of interesting to think I would just kind of go back in that circle. Even though like it's like I branched out a bit, then being like, I can't like keep up enough of an interest for myself as I'm playing just purely story-based games.
The kick lets them down.
It's interesting thinking about that.
Can keep it moving. Slick hands. Hall can get it and go. Pow. I've liked his game today.
So as I think about that, I also think about, well, what's going to happen once I actually get through this AFL season here? It's projected to end. I'm projected to finish it within like September range, early September-ish, like the mid-September, probably. It's like, what happens when that's done? Do I just go to playing NBA? Am I actually going to want to go do that? Like maybe, like I would get pretty much a similar thing that happens here. I'm playing a game, but then I'm also able to like potentially talk about things. But am I actually going to have interest in doing that, especially because the NBA season is going to be there, and I'm probably going to want to focus on that. Like, there's a good chance I'm actually going to want to spend some time focusing on it, and if I do that, and it's on every day, am I actually going to have interest in going around doing this stuff that I'm doing? And I don't know. I actually don't know. Like I can see myself saying, "Oh, I actually wouldn't have the interest," but that I would keep doing it because I would probably be trying to say to myself, "Oh no, I have to keep doing it. You have to keep going. Like these other things that you focused on, you've tried different things and it didn't happen, so they're kind of cut off you. And you're doing this because it's like it's a thing you had interest in, but you weren't doing it because you didn't have enough interest in doing it. But you're doing it now because you have you have some interest in doing it. It has the potential to do some things that you kind of want from it. And what else are you going to do? You know? What else are you going to go do?
A promising builder amounts to nothing. What can they generate? Sicily. Neat little.
In a way, that actually makes me want to cry. Like, I don't feel the need to do that right now.
Newcomb marks on center wing. The Hawks are playing some.
But I can see how that would make me want to cry. Feeling like, what direction do you actually want to go with things? Technically, you're on a direction already, but you really want to keep going down that path. But you're questioning if you should keep going down it. But you also don't know of another path for you to really go down. That feels like it's a better option for you. A more desirable option. And your ability to think through the future, not exactly at the top of the top, you know? You see things kind of in the moment mostly. Even if you like can get lots of anxieties about future things, you can't really piece them together. So it just kind of keeps you on that same path. Maybe you can think of some stuff. Maybe you can think of things that has the ability to interest you, but you don't think that you can achieve it.
They're huffing and puffing.
So what do you do?
Good ball movement, wasted by a poor.
Are you going to actually move towards it? Maybe if it excites you enough, you will.
Running in support. He put himself in the line of fire. Amon is dangerous when he has space. Green drops into the hole and marks.
I thought he was going to get that then.
Loved that one.
That is a ball up.
Okay.
Okay.
A few hearts in mouths for a moment or two. Punch clear. Davies Uniacke.
Punch clear.
Hawthorn. That's a dreadful hand pass, truth told. He's got it.
If you turn the ball over there, you've got to expect to pay the price.
It's looking every bit of blowout at this stage.
It's,
the big men fly.
I still remember. It's still memorable. I was talking about this yesterday. It's still memorable to me how I was seeing people on Twitter, and I'm calling it Twitter, were commenting on a person's Reddit post who was a 37-year-old who felt like they were doing some stuff, but they felt like they didn't know what to do with their life. And I just keep remembering one of the comments.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Just one part of it about they could be a woe is me influencer. How that resonated with me. How it hit me. How I'm like, yeah. And I look at myself in the moment that I'm at right now. And being like, this feels so natural. It feels so natural to be doing it. Because this is basically what I've been doing over the past couple of years. Just without it. Well, even with it being public, because the little video diary series I was doing was actually public.
Just needed to be a bit more
Up until I decided I wanted to come do this. I thought it'd make more sense to take it, to not do it, you know, not have it, not let it be public, and then,
I just haven't had an answer for
you know, you are who you are. What you do is what you do. What you're used to is a habit. It's a habit. That's goal number 8 for him, I think. That is the first person to get 8 goals in a game all season, I believe. And like the feeling bad for yourself thing, I don't know what I want to do. Why am I doing things? Oh, I just want a girlfriend or wife. That's all I want. But I don't want to go do the things to set the things up to make myself available for the dating pool because I can't even get the girlfriend. So what's the point of doing all the things and that help you set up into getting into the dating pool? Why am I not doing? Because I don't want to do those things. They're not interesting enough to me. Oh, but they could be the thing that gets you the girlfriend or the wife. Yeah, but I don't. But I have so many other reasons why I don't think I would be able to get one or not. So doing the whole going through the path doesn't even feel worth it. And even if you're going through the path and it feels worth it and you get to the end, well then you gotta keep them, and so many relationships don't even last because they get bored from being really excitement, and it's like, is that gonna happen to me? Is that gonna happen to her? Oh my god, now it's not even worth going down it anyway. And then all the lives and there's so many things and you're like, okay, shut the fuck up. You're not happy with things. What's the constant in it? And it's low self-esteem. Like, I'm aware of. It's like, well, how do you build that self-esteem up? You get like little experiences going. You get little experiences here. You get little experiences there. And how long does it take? You don't fucking know how long it takes. So you're just going to be on that path and you're going to bitch and moan until eventually it works out, and then you have to keep it going because that's just how things go. You just keep going till you die. You know? Oh my god, I go down the path, I'm trying to get to the end of it, yay, we got to the end of it, okay, now you're going to keep going, and you keep going till you die. Why am I keeping going in the first place? You want to get the thing. Yes, I want to get the thing. Why do you want the thing? I don't exactly know entirely, but I want the thing, and then I'm going to die, so then I question why am I even doing the things in the first place? It's like what would that be considered? Like a spiral, like a revolving door of hopelessness? I don't know. Some sort of revolving door thing, I think. Like a cycle that just goes around in circles. Get the handballs away. There you go. But yeah, I mean, this morning as I was listening, I'm like, yeah, I'm on the back. I'm riding the exercise back. I'm playing a game. I'm listening to Dr. Mike talk to Tony Hawk. Oh yeah, this stuff feels nice. This kind of feels nice here. Doing it right. Doing this thing. And I can't, it's like I can't be happy for myself. Like seeing that, you know? Being like, why do you need to be upset so much? What's been going on that you gotta feel so upset by things? You can't just, you know, it can't last long.
Might be time to shuffle the magnets a bit.
Happiness and sadness, I mean, those types of things, they are momentary feelings. They are just little emotions, but like the idea of a depression, which is like consistent sadness, I suppose, and hopelessness and whatever, that's like a constant feeling. Like the difference between happiness and a depression isn't necessarily what you're feeling, but it's like the length that you're feeling it for, I suppose. like sadness and depression. That would have been a better example to use there. But what's the happiness one? Contentment? General, just
He'll feel that one, Zerha.
I don't know.
The kick is wide and out of bounds on the full.
That's
I
a
don't know.
shank.
A chance to clear now. Power within range can make them pay. Onto the non-preferred. Sherry. He'll be sore in the morning.
It's funny. The things I'm talking about right now, this is going to be memorable for me to talk about my little private video series that I have for myself that I don't even watch because I don't want to. I don't watch any of this stuff back. I don't want to.
He's right into trouble. One behind.
Seemed like the defender's got a
And there's
bit lost there, and they're lucky
quite a
to
few
pick up
things
the
I'll
goal.
probably think about with it. I'll just probably repeat the same thing and I won't even, maybe I won't even touch on it. I don't.
They desperately need Sherry. He's suddenly a popular man. Stevenson.
You work on things, you work on things, you work on
Can
things.
they catch them out on the turnover?
And why are you working on them?
Clever
knows.
kick. Morrison has found some space at halfback. Newcomb.
When it all ends up at the same place anyway.
That's not ideal. That passage of play promised.
Oh yeah, you need the stuff, you need the twitch, you need to do the thing that maybe has an enjoyment for you. You need to go do the thing that, oh, you need to go get the monies because you need to be doing the stuff that helps you be able to have a decent living life or something. Just a standard of living life, you know these things are going to go away. You can't just keep doing the same path that you're on. I was like, okay, yep. I need to go do that thing and to go do this thing. It's like, okay, but where's it all going down to? Because you're just going to the slaughterhouse like every other human being, no matter what people believe and whatever anyone else does. They're all going to the same freaking slaughterhouse. Which is why then people have different ideas of what happens afterwards. Some people want to go and believe that there's an afterlife afterwards, because if you feel like there isn't an afterlife, then you end up going to say, what's the fucking point of doing anything? So are you believing it because you actually think it's there, or are you believing in it because the alternative is something that you consider to be worse, you know? Well, I see that type of thing, I was like, ah, cool, yeah. And then there's that in there.
Nevertheless, they're taking advantage of their opposition's shortcomings. Will their luck hold?
Thanks for those observations, Gary.
And even if you believe in the afterlife, is it actually worth a point? Damn, actually think, is the thing that you believe in something that's actually a good thing? But you have to be like, oh my god, everything you're doing now is going to be worth it. Like, that's the reason we do it. The reason we do the things is because we feel like doing them is going to be worth towards something. Whatever our subconscious analysis has going around saying, yep, this is the thing that you want to go do, that's going to be worth it towards some sort of purpose.
So impressive today. This will give them huge belief.
And everything that's done within the world that we're on Earth here, we're all like, yep, you need to go do this thing, you need to go get the job, you need to go do this thing, you need to go do that thing, but you're gonna fucking die. It's like, oh, that's okay. It's like, oh, either it is or it isn't okay. Like, why the fuck are we always going around doing it?
What can he manufacture?
Oh, this is a good thing in life, this is a bad thing in life. What the fuck makes them good and bad? We just fucking say so. That's why. Or we believe that some other being said so, so we just take it because they said so.
He's got under that one.
Some great being that may or may not be the factual, accurate thing outside of us that created this. That is the being that said these things are okay and these things are not okay. Also, we have to follow it because they said so. Or do we actually have to follow it? Do we not have to follow it? I had, like, you think of like little history. Like, think of history. Think of any sort of history. Like, oh god, I don't know what happened there. Like, our ability to say things to be truth, like, truth is so unlikely. Like, I don't think we realize just how unlikely something is to be true. Just anything in general, you know? Like, the more little variables you add into something, the harder it is. Like, if you think of a test, it's so much easier to not score 100, to not get a perfect score on a test than it is to score 100 on a test. And the more questions you add into it, the more variables that are in there, the more questions, the more answers that are possible towards those questions, the harder it is to get the 100% on the test. Which is what truth is supposed to be. Truth is supposed to be taking all the variables into something and then being able to get the most accurate reading on it. And we say that is truth, right?
Well, it's one thing to take the contested mark, but another to have the composure to finish off
like,
good work.
The more variables you add into things, the harder it is for it to be true. Like, I don't even think that we realize just how hard it is for anything at all to even be true. Like, we look at any history book, like, the chances that a history book is full of complete accuracy that is completely accurate on everything, and then the takeaways from that are completely accurate. The chances of that are so unbelievably difficult, you know?
For the Crummers to go to work. Nash, Goldstein, gathers.
But we look at a history book and like, oh yeah, this is what happened in the 1920s. This is what people said happened there. They wrote it down, of course. But like, because we as humans have error, like, do we really think that it's possible for a history book to be completely accurate on everything? Now, sure, maybe if they're saying one little thing, it can be true. But if a history book, the more details it adds, the harder it is for it to actually be true. Because it's another variable into it. It's like a question on a test. The more facts that you put in there, it's another question on the test. It's another potential answer to a test. You know? Really going to say, and are we ever going to know these things to be true or not? No, because we don't have the ability to time travel and that stuff. We just change our perceptions. We just add another little variable into it, and whether or not we think that it was actually accurate or not, it changes our perceptions on the things. So then we'll be like, oh, I guess this is what we think the truth is and everything. But how much in life that we actually go around is actually true? You know? And it's like, oh, well, what can actually be true? What does it mean for something to be true? Well, you need some sort of standard of truth, right? In order for something to be objectively true, and you think about it, what I end up coming away with is like, well, for something to be actually objective, it needs some sort of standard to be objective, right? But standards can only be created through the subjective desire for the said standards, so objectivity can only come within the subjective. So it can't actually ultimately be truly objective on things, right? So it's like, then what the fuck is there? Who the fuck knows what the fuck there is?
Tucker goes goalward, and he's off target.
But then what gives me the ability to come away with all the different things that I look at, all these different influences, and come away with the philosophies that I end up coming away with, the takeaways I end up coming away with? How much of that is based on my low self-esteem on myself? Probably so fucking much. You know? It'd be like, oh yeah, the reason why this thing is a good thing is because of my low self-esteem and my just general ability to do things, so it's easier for me in some situations to be able to go and say this thing is good, this thing is bad, or maybe even not even say anything is good in general, but it's easy for me to say this thing is actually bad, it's not the way it is, because if I was to go down that road, if I was to legitimize that idea just like anyone else, you know, like if we look at a situation and it's easy for us to delegitimize something if we think by legitimizing it we don't have the ability to actually strive within it. You know, we feel like we would be a failure within it. We don't have the ability for it. So why not? Why let it keep standing? Why let the building stand if you can't enter the building? If you're not going to be any good at doing the stuff that's going to happen with the building, just knock it down. Just say it's not good whatsoever. You don't fit within it, so just knock it down. Like, that makes so much sense, right?
Frost, terrific forward pressure. Ward, Hardwick.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, when we look around and be like, this thing is true, this thing isn't true, it has nothing to do with the fact. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's actually true in like a objective standpoint. I'm pretty sure I even said this exact thing before. Of like, oh my god, you fully analyzed the situation. Awesome, good for you. What we're going to come away with is what is personally convenient for us based on our perceptions on what we are personally capable of, what everyone else is capable of, what gives us to be able to be in a situation to stand on top in whatever field that we personally want to be on top in, that allow us to be the center of the universe, because we're always going to be the center of the universe in our eyes, no matter what we say to anyone else, because it's just the way we view the world. Because we view the world through our eyes, no one else's. It doesn't matter where you are in any moment in time, you're the only person ever in the exact moment that's going to be having the perception in the world view that you're having in that present moment, because no one else has your eyes, right?
And they're away.
So the world's literally, you're the center of your own universe. Doesn't matter what influences other people have, the fact that there are other people in the world. You can't read their minds, you can't actually feel their feelings, you can have ideas of what's going on, and you could be correct, but you can be wrong as well. You have error within that.
They're getting the ball inside 50 under, not nearly enough pressure.
Has he got enough on it? Goldstein ensures that foray will come to nothing. The kick was centimetre perfect.
Go around.
Phillips.
We're always going to say we're the center of our own. We're ultimately always the center of our own universes, despite all the little influences we can have from other people, any other thing that we see in front and around us. the ultimate decision is going to be based on us at our core. That's going to be the final thing that says yes or no to doing something and what to and who not to do. So the ultimate decision is ourselves. The way that we do things is going to be centered around ourselves at the end, at our very core, no matter what we say to anyone else. It's just impossible. It's literally impossible for us to think of the world as anything else except for us being the center of the attention, us being the center of the world, no matter what anyone says. I don't think it's actually possible for anyone to be any different.
Taking no chances there.
He's off. Goes long from the kick in. Moore doesn't want to turn it over there. Newcomb should be in the votes today. Scrimshaw, they're toying with them now. Hall has it now on centre wing. Can they keep the footy alive? Tucker, it fell into his arms. Sherry, he'll feel that.
Like, there's good stuff in what I just said there. Like, I know there's good stuff in there that I fully agree with, that I think people on a whole should actually think is valuable. Like, there's stuff in there that I think people should consider valuable. But why am I saying this stuff? Because fuck, it's not for your benefit. It's not for anyone's benefit but myself. At the end of it, like, there can be a benefit to other people. It's like, oh my god, this person benefited from it. Oh my god. But like I said, because of the way that we interact with the world, because we see things through our eyes, whether that's you, me, or anyone else,
now it's someone else's problem.
we're not doing anything for anyone but ourselves. It's literally impossible.
Tighten up on him. They gave him too much space on that occasion, and he made the most of it.
The Roos haven't thrown in the towel. Credit to them. That's a bruising tackle. Morrison.
We convince each other there's such a thing as a selfish and an unselfish person. We convince each other that selfishness is bad, when really all it means is doing things for the interest of someone other than me is bad and make you selfish. That's all we're really saying. How dare you do things that benefit you? How dare you do things that don't benefit me? You're so selfish for doing something that I don't like.
Keeps it low. Shields.
You're at fault for doing something I don't like. You should think you're a bad person and change, and you should change, and the way you should change is act in a way that's beneficial towards I personally see the world, the way I like it to be. That's what you should have to do, because you stop being such a selfish person. Don't be so selfish. Do what I say, do what I like. Stop being so selfish. What's wrong with you?
Day, Mackay, didn't need to be asked twice. Hall, probing ball. Phillips. They've worked it well. How's the entry? They must tidy up their kicking.
Tell people that honesty is great. They should be honest, but fuck, everyone has some sort of, whether or not they've gone out in life or not, or had any sort of experiencing social things. For me, it's seeing little social games when honesty happens and how unappreciative people actually are towards it. Full of crap. Anyone should know that's full of crap. The only reason people say that is because they want you to be honest, so then they have the best chance of having the information for themselves to perfectly have the best chance to understand what they should do for their lives. They're not going to give a crap about actually being honest with you.
Can't take it. Simpkin gathers. Tucker.
Even if they're very honest, everyone's, there's still a protective nature in ourselves. We're really going to be honest about everything? Be completely open about everything? That's so stupid.
This for 3 on the trot, and he steers it through.
You're going to have no layer of protection on yourself? Bullcrap. It's going to be something.
With all the momentum now, Cunnington.
Oh, it's a bit late for their momentum, ain't it? Yep, that's the end of the game here. Cool.
Thanks for joining us.
Let's have a look here.
Until then,
Mitch Lewis had 8 goals, new leader at the top. I think it's the first with 8. Moore had 10 marks, Newcomb with 7 tackles. Newcomb had 47 touches as well. For North, it was Cunnington, Davies Uniacke had 42, Simpkin had 40. Okay. So it was Hawthorn getting the win. That was a nice win for them. They had Lewis with 8 goals, Newcomb with 47, and they go on top of North Melbourne by 43 points, 128 to 85.